A relentless pursuit of excellence, unmatched firepower, and an environment built for champions. From a Big Ten title to a CFP semifinal appearance, the Oregon Ducks have spent 2 seasons ascending, leaving but one stop left untouched. The expectations, the anticipation have never been higher in Eugene, harboring a Heisman hopeful and one of the most formidable defensive fronts in college football. Dan Lanning's Ducks are not just in a row, they have their marching orders. Over the next hour, we'll introduce you to Oregon's 2 new coordinators and sit down with Dan Lanning as he sets his sights on the program's first national championship. Stop 5 of the Big Ten training camp tour starts now. Of the Pacific Northwest as we welcome you to the Willamette Valley. At its heart sits the University of Oregon, and before the Roar returns to Autzen this fall, there's work to be done. We welcome you to the Big Ten Training Camp Tour stop number 5, alongside the 3-time Super Bowl champ and Hall of Famer here at the University of Oregon, Kenyon Barner. I'm Cameron Irwin, and expectations maybe never higher than they are right now for the Ducks. How do you expect them rising to the occasion?
Listen, I expect them to do exactly that, and that's rise to their question for one reason and one reason only. Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning is a man who has full control of this football team. He knows how to play with their minds, get them mentally ready to go and accomplish anything that he places before them. Not only that, you add in the players that decided to return back and come help this program chase another national championship. Listen, the sky's the limit for this football team.
Kenyon, you were a part of a historic campaign. You think back to 2010, this team made it all the way to a national championship appearance. What do fans have to look forward to in terms of the environment and the excitement?
Listen. It is an unmatched energy that exists here in the city of Eugene, not just Eugene. You kind of got to go throughout the Pacific Northwest, maybe not Washington, but here in specifically the state of Oregon, listen, there's a level of excitement that's unmatched. It's kind of hard to put into words, but there's not a conversation that you can hear that doesn't revolve around the Oregon Ducks and going to the national championship during that time. There's not a conversation that can be heard about the performance of players. It's just an energy, it's a notion of pure elation in the city of Eugene when it comes to this football team. And the anticipation for what they can accomplish this season, it's right there.
One of the themes is under construction here at Oregon, and one of the pieces of that, 2 new coordinators. It's actually just one of 4 teams in the Power 4 that have 2 new coordinators. You talk about Chris Hampton, Drew Mehringer, both defensive and offensive. What's the transition period like?
Well, I think for Drew and for Hemp, it kind of is almost seamless. Obviously, you want to put your stamp on the defense and on the offense. You want to make it your own. But listen, these aren't phases of offense and defense that they weren't already a part of. They've all been a part of these programs and what's going on into these defenses and the offense. So for Hamp and for Drew, there's not much that has to change. You know, it's the old saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And so for Drew and Hamp, again, come in, be you, change what you need to change, but continue to be successful and run the program that's been ran.
All right, we've been going over all sorts of what's going to be out on the field from player to player. What intrigues you the most here at training camp?
I think we got to start where the rest of the country has started, that defensive front. You have Tatum Tuioti, Amari, you have Bear, you have Matayo. You got to start right there. I want to see these guys move around. I want to see them get after the quarterback. Obviously, we're not making any contact, but I want to see the battle up front with the offensive line. I want to see how they're making each other better. And then also I want to get into the secondary. I'm excited to see Perich and what he brings to the secondary.
Dante returns under center, and you think about just the amount of buy-in from this program. He had a chance to potentially go and play on Sundays. He decides he's going to come back and start for the Ducks. What does that mean in terms of the buy-in, the belief that these guys have in their coach?
It says a lot, because it's not just Dante, right, that had the opportunity to go to the next level. That entire defensive front, as we talked about, all of those guys made the choice to come back. And that says a lot about Dan Lanning. It says a lot about the belief in this team. And it says a lot about what they believe they can accomplish this season. Because if you didn't think that you could go out and chase after a national championship and potentially win it, you would go and you would have furthered your career at the next level. But it says a lot about those guys and what this program has to offer to those individual dudes and collectively as a team.
The belief, the buy-in, it's all right here in Eugene.
I think we got the best quarterback in college football.
Dennis Sutton, a free runner. Moore on the run, wide open. Gary Bryant, touchdown. One play is all they need to take the lead. Moore coming this way to the end zone. McClellan's got it. Touchdown.
Expectation for Dante that I have in every player on our team is to grow and continue to get better. And he's certainly in a special position to help create that. And make us a special team this year.
The hype was real for Dante Moore as the Ducks signal caller impressed in his first full year under center in Eugene. Moore completed nearly 72% of his passes, good enough for the 4th best in the country, and also 4th best single-season mark in school history. Moore started all 15 games for Oregon, throwing for more than 3,500 yards and 30 touchdowns with just 10 interceptions. As we welcome you in, Dante Moore, the starting quarterback for the Oregon Ducks, as well as receiver Evan Stewart. Guys, fall camp is well underway. I have to ask, what's the connection going to be like for you guys? What can Duck fans expect? Evan, I'll start with you.
Dynamite, honestly, straight explosion. We've been connecting pretty early and just trying to stack the days on top of each other.
For Tay, you've had an unusual journey, brother. You went from starting as a freshman, coming involuntary, sitting behind Dylan, and now being the starting quarterback with real NFL expectations. Yep. What version of Dante has taught you the most about you?
Just enjoying the process. I mean, at the end of the day, I had the decision to make to go to the NFL or come back, but whatever I did, and I feel like I made the right decision. I'm going to enjoy it. It's going to be a long process, but just got to enjoy it. Just got to embrace everything, the adversity and all.
You talk about enjoyment. Well, I got to ask, Evan, you're returning from injury. How good does it feel to have your cleats in the turf out there at Autzen?
Man, it feels amazing. I feel blessed. Every single day, seeing the sun and my brothers is just amazing, honestly.
What did you learn in that injury? Because I remember vividly talking to you in the training room on the day that you got hurt. You were hurt, but you weren't down.
Yeah.
What did you gain from that?
We all live another day. Football is not just the only thing in my life. There's more to life than just football. Yeah. So, I just had to put my trust in my faith and just keep stacking the days and know that it's going to get better.
That's good.
Dante, you mentioned that Evan had maybe one of the best off seasons that you've ever seen. Could you maybe showcase whether it's a highlight or a moment that's really come to life?
Yeah, Evan had a great off season. I mean, it first starts from last year when the injury happened. Just how much of a leader he was in the classroom. I mean, of course, he was on the field making the explosive plays, but he just taught the younger guys, especially the Corian, just their ways and the great things of college football to do. And with him being back this offseason, I mean, when it comes to the weight room and our racks are right next to each other, me just seeing the way he's moving, the way he's squatting, the way he's pressing. I mean, he's just done so many great things in the weight room to get him stronger. And on the field, he's always been special. He's always made the plays. I mean, it's gonna be a lot of great highlights this year, and we're gonna have a great time.
We're going to act like Evan's not sitting here, right? This is just an empty space right here. We've been in these locker rooms. We know who the divas are in the locker room.
Yeah.
What receiver is consistently in your ear telling you they're open, but on the end of that, which one of them are actually correct when they're telling you that?
None of them now.
None of them?
I kind of had to, end that conversation. And when I first got here, it was always, hey, I'm open, on film, they're waving their hands, or they come to me after the play, and now they know just, hey, Tay, let's watch the film later, see, how you see this concept. I might have been open on this play, but during the play or after the play, they're never, shouting my name. It's always in the film room. They'll give me that look, though. They'll be like, hey, I was open, but they ain't going to say nothing. And at the end of the day, we just watch film and just, get better at that.
Yeah.
A bit of a transition for you guys with new offensive coordinator Drew Mehringer in the mix. You have called him a scientist. Is it like a mad scientist? Can you maybe tell us a story that really illustrates how his brain works?
You got a story?
I have a story. It's a little memory. I still got to get my rematch in pool. He, on my visit here, he beat me in pool really bad, to the point where I was like he's special with the game. I mean, he's just very smart. He talks, in the game of football, just in very special ways. And last year, him and Coach Stein were best friends when it comes to the game plans and concepts. But with him this year, I'm excited for him. I'm also excited for Coach Stein going out to the Kentucky. But overall, I mean, just seeing Coach Mehringer every day, early mornings, late nights, just putting so much trust into our team and into the playbook. He's done a great job, and we're excited.
Now, when you say he beat you bad, would you have had to sit up under the pool table because you didn't make a ball?
It's like when I broke, I didn't have a chance to come back.
That was it.
So then it was it's like 8-ball pool on your phone. It's like,
okay.
It's cheating.
For you as a receiver in this system, how much different is it from what Coach Stein did versus what Mehringer is doing?
Honestly, it's not too much different, but at the same time, it's just a bunch of different ways. I feel like we had a lot of certain types last year, and this year we're doing a lot of different things, just maneuvering different pieces in the formations and stuff. So yeah.
I was going to say, Dante, what are you most looking forward to in terms of unlocking in your own game here, second year starting?
My confidence when it comes to this pre-snap, just trust in my eyes, trust in myself when I watch film. I mean, just talking to the coaches, we were having a great plan when it comes to my routine throughout the weeks. And yeah, pre-snap, college football changes every day. Certain different defensive looks, but pre-snap I always want to be confident, because if I don't have the confidence, then I'm gonna be second guessing myself after the ball snap.
I remember after you guys had played Texas Tech, right before we did an interview, we had talked, and you had missed, I want to say it was Kenyon going down the seam. We had a conversation. The growth, and when you talk about pre-snap read, because that's something we spoke about, where does that happen? Where does that take place? What exactly are you talking about when you say the confidence and the growth in pre-snap reads?
Yeah, it's just the game of football just changes every day. I mean, now you have corners playing the halves, you have safeties, robbing the middle of the field when it comes to the boundary safety. It's just so many different pieces, and pre-snap, they're going to show you something, and post-snap, they're going to rotate to another thing. So overall, it's just watching so much film when it comes to with Coach Koa, Coach Mehringer, Coach Jay. I mean, everybody is being in that room. They're trying to make sure that we just have, the proper mindset when it comes to a certain play. And then at the end of the day, I just want to make sure that I just go out there and, achieve and just go and ball out.
Final question. Fill in the blank for me. Oregon wins the national championship if
we worry about today.
Ooh, that's a good answer. Great question, Kenyon.
That's good.
Right on top of it. Don't leave him hanging, Dante.
Come here. There we go. Look, I was going to help you out. I was going to pick you up.
He was going to see it.
From one duck to another duck to another duck. Guys, thanks so much for joining us here, and good luck with this upcoming season.
Thank you. Go Ducks.
Thank you.
Oregon lost both coordinators to head coaching positions in the offseason. We'll catch up with new DC Chris Hampton and get his level of excitement on what should be a stacked Ducks defense. And Dan Lanning stops by to preview the season after a pair of 13-win seasons that ultimately came up short in the CFP. How does this team take the next step to win college football's ultimate prize? Welcome back to Eugene, where the Ducks defense figures to be as good, if not better, than last year's unit, which ranked in the top 20 nationally in most statistical categories. Oregon returns 8 starters from that group, including names like Tuioti, Finney, Alexander, Washington, and Uiagalelei. Chris Hampton takes over as full-time defensive coordinator following the departure of Tosh Lupoi, who became the head coach at Cal. Well, it's time to welcome in somebody that deserves a bit of congratulations. New defensive coordinator Chris Hampton. Congrats on the new position. How are we feeling coming into this year?
Feeling great, man. I've got a wonderful staff I get to work with each and every day. Going on year 3 here for me, and so happy about the coaching staff. Glad to be in this position, and we got a great group of players to work with each every day, and so just trying to get better each and every day.
Talking about those players, this is one of the most versatile groups that Oregon has had in a long time from a secondary standpoint. How much easier does that make your job as a coordinator when you have guys that can do different things? And does it make your job harder trying to get them to maintain and do one thing and one thing only?
No, I think it definitely makes it easier. We talk about position versatility. We've got a bunch of guys that can play inside, can play outside. They can play corner, they can play nickel, they can play dime, they can play safety. Safeties that can also go out and cover and play corner. So I think it would make us a little bit tougher to identify who's where, who's on the field, and we'll be able to play with different personnel packages.
Coach Lanning often talks about standards and edges. Well, I'm curious, what is a non-negotiable for your defense?
Effort. That's the number one thing. We talk about is running to the football. We should have a +2 finish, in practice each and every day. So the number one thing is effort and, sprint to the football.
Every coach is different philosophically. Every single coach. So for you and Dan, where do you guys differ from a philosophical standpoint?
I think the good thing is we really don't differ a whole lot.
Amazing.
I think, and that's been the beauty of our relationship. With me being this, the co-DC and secondary coach. Before taking over the reins of the defensive coordinator, we both want to execute at a high level. We want to confuse the offense as much as possible, and then ultimately do what our players do best.
Bryce Betcher moving on to the next level, but I imagine he was your green dot, so that is a big role to be filled. How are you feeling about who could be in that position?
Feeling well about it. We've got a bunch of guys working it. Right now in practice you can have more than one. Once you get to the game, there's only one guy on the field at a time that can do it. So, I don't know how much of an impact it is. I think it's a little bit overrated, in my opinion, about the green dot. Who wears the green dot and the communication. And so, I want the players to play. I think sometimes you can give the guys too much information in their ear. you're talking to them and clogging their brain, and I just want them to go out there and play fast.
From a fan standpoint, everybody equates great defense to sacks and interceptions.
Yeah.
But for Coach Hampton as a coordinator, what signifies a great defense for you? What statistics should fans really be looking at when it comes to you and your defense?
The number one stat is points per game, right? So the number one goal on defense is to keep the points down.
Right.
So I think that's really the number one deal is, do we give up points or not? And if we don't give up points, then, it's going to be hard to beat us, But there's a lot of factors that go into, do you have a great havoc rate? Are you getting red zone stops? Are we getting third down stops? But the big piece is not giving up points.
Yeah.
Everyone's been talking about this defensive front for the University of Oregon. It seems like you could have so much fun creating pressure packages. What is the design process like for you?
It's been fun. We've got a bunch of different guys, up front. A lot of people know about our starting four that's returning, but, you have guys like Matt Johnson, Aiden Breland, and Nas Wyatt, DeAndre Robinson, who transferred in from North Carolina. So we've got a bunch of guys that can roll and play.
When you have that many guys, for you as a coordinator, is it hard for you to decide what you design your defense for and who you design it for versus what guy you put in that spot?
That's a good problem to have.
It's a great problem.
That's a great. I'd rather be this way than the other way.
Yeah,
but I'm trying to
absolutely.
figure out, we don't have any good players, and how can I stop anybody? So it's a great problem to have.
Yeah.
All right, Coach, thanks so much for joining us. Looks like you got plenty of talent here on the defensive side.
Thank you.
Oregon's defense matched their fewest points allowed in the last 3 decades a year ago, giving up just 16.5 points per game. The Ducks did have mixed results in the CFP, shutting out Texas Tech in the quarterfinals before giving up 56 points in their Peach Bowl semifinal loss to Indiana. Oregon carries over a top 4 pass defense from a season ago. Kenyon, I have to ask, do you think they're going to pick up where they left off?
Listen, they don't have a choice, obviously. They have to pick it up. You lose Dylan Thieneman, you lose Jaden Kennedy. What do? You go into Porter, you get Coy Perich. Right after that, you bring in Carl Williams. Right after that, you go get Aaron Scott from Ohio State. All guys who are capable of picking up the slack that was lost with those other 2 guys that left. So what do? You have to get them up to the learning curve. There's going to be a learning curve. They're both new. Davon Benjamin, a freshman that's also here. Guys that have to catch up to the learning curve, learn the defense, the calls, the audibles, everything that goes into that. And that's where you make your decision.
If there's one place on the Oregon defense that you might look for improvement, it could be in the run defense. Yes. How important is that in terms of their success in 2026?
Well, it's imperative because as a championship caliber defense, you don't want to be one-sided. You don't want to have a missing link in the chain necessarily to say. You want to be able to stop the run. You want to be able to stop the pass. And last season, there were spots in games where Oregon just could not stop the run. And so that's something that you do collectively as a unit. That's defensive line, that's linebackers, that's corners, that's safeties, that's everybody working together, and oftentimes sacrificing self, sacrificing me for the betterment of we.
And the next area is going to be all about the defensive front. As much as we've talked about them able to generate pressure, they've got to get after the quarterback.
They got after the quarterback, but they didn't get the quarterback. They were ranked 97th in sacks last season. As, again, a championship caliber defense, just because you pressure the quarterback doesn't necessarily mean that you affect the quarterback. So for this defense to really take it to the next level, Amari Washington, Bear Alexander, Tatum Tuioti, Matayo Uiagalelei, all of these guys have to get after the quarterback and get him on his back pockets for this defense to really go and develop to that next level.
We got a chance just to hear from defensive coordinator Chris Hampton and then watch him operate. And he talked about the green dot, which they're going to have to replace. Yes. There's a unique way that Dan Lanning and this defense goes about moving around players at practice.
It's rare. You don't really see this. During this time of year, you would expect to see starters with starters, but everybody's getting a chance, whether it's Devin Jackson, whether it's Gavin Nix. Everybody is getting a chance to wear this green dot helmet. And so where does it come from? Who is going to be the voice of your defense? You lost, in my opinion, the heart of the defense last season in Bryce Betcher. So you have to find a guy that can fill that void, that can communicate effectively, get everybody lined up, and go out there and play championship level defense.
Who stood out in that regard?
I like Devin Jackson. I like what I've seen from him today. He was probably the most vocal guy, whether he was on the field or on the sideline. He was going teammate to teammate, let's pick it up when drills were coming up. He was going to the linebackers, to the safeties, to the defensive line. Hey, let's go get after these offensive guys. Let's get after the receivers. He was all over the place. So I really like what I heard and what I've seen from Devin Jackson on today.
The Oregon defense does return 8 starters in 2026. When you're chasing the ultimate prize in college football, talent gets you in the conversation, but experience finishes the job. Coming up next, we sit down with Oregon head coach Dan Lanning to learn how Oregon is leaning into their veteran core. Welcome back to Eugene, where the only thing hotter than the recent heat wave might be Oregon's success rate since Dan Lanning took over as head coach. Lanning's teams have won 10, 12, 13, and 13 games in his 4 seasons here for a total of 48 wins. The only program who has won more over that period, Lanning's previous employer, Georgia. The other 3 schools listed have all won a national championship over that same time frame, something the Ducks hope to emulate. Joining us now, the head coach for the Oregon Ducks, Dan Lanning. I'm Cam Irwin alongside Kenyon Barner. Coach, thanks for sitting down with us. First and foremost, you said this is the most player-led group that you've ever had. In what ways has that come to life at training camp?
Yeah, it shows up in everything. You know, we put a lot of onus on these guys over the summer to take charge, right? And whether it's making sure their drill's executed the right way, leading a meeting, getting them in front of the team to speak, all those things have to show up for us, and it's been showing up so far.
You made a comment that you wanted to create more alphas. Now, we all know that there's a difference between the loudest guy in the locker room and a guy that everybody wants to get behind and follow. Is that something that you can create, or players have to take upon themselves and develop into that?
It's a combination of both. One, I think, you know, we always talk about if you're good enough, you're old enough. It doesn't matter how old you are to be an alpha. When I think of alphas, I'm thinking about, like, you throw some meat down in the middle of the cage, who's going to come out with it? We got to find some guys to go do that. We've got guys that have talent and that are capable, and we have guys that are great leaders. But now we need the guy that's going to bite your leg off, and that's what we're looking forward through fall camp.
You know, as much as coaches teach, they also learn. What did you learn from Dante Moore last year?
Man, so many lessons learned. One, just what he's capable of, right? I think we knew that, seen it in practice, but it's different when the bullets start to fly in game reps. And I'm so excited about the additional improvement I've seen from him going into this year. And, you know, I think he's quite a bit better player from a knowledge standpoint and what he can do physically just because of what he's been able to grow and do. And that allows us to do a ton more from an offensive standpoint and as a team.
Standing right there with Dante. Dante had every real opportunity to go to the next level and chose to come back. How different is it for you coaching a player from a standpoint where he feels he has something to prove versus a player that is deciding that he can lead a team to a championship, potentially?
You know, you like to think you coach all the guys the same, right? And you push them to be their very best regardless of situation. I think that's one thing that Dante's really embraced.
Yeah.
I think he recognizes the opportunity that's in front of us, but it's about him getting better. Right. And that's where it starts, and then it's about who we can pull along with him. And we're going to coach him as hard as we possibly can to maximize that.
The difference between expectations and motivation, you know, there's so much conversation around this program. What would you say in terms of what you've alluded to with your team, just to move those expectations simply to motivation?
Yeah, ultimately, the only opinions that matter are the opinions in that room, right, in that team meeting room. And the reality is everybody outside the building can have expectations, but they're going to have zero impact on the game. So we have to focus on the guys that actually have an impact on the game. And that's the guys that are going out there and practicing every day and working every day.
Going back to your famous quote, if you're good enough to play, you're old enough to play. For the fans, how does a young player earn your trust in order to come onto the field? Because this is a veteran-led team right now. This is one of the oldest teams that you've had since you've been here. How does a younger guy step into that framework and earn that right?
Well, one, I think as a coach, you got to figure out what guys can do quick, right? And then you got to make sure that they can absorb that role and execute it to a high level. We've had guys do that here in the past. Once we figure out what they're capable of, you know, how much can they handle? And the more they can handle, the more they can be available for us on the field. Once they've done that, right, it's our job to make sure we get great talent out there on the field.
As much as players take on the identity of their coach, they also do that of their coordinators. You've got 2 new coordinators and also just elevated within. What can you tell us about the personalities and just a general description of those 2 guys?
Yeah, again, both infatuated with football, great relationship guys. You know, Drew's extremely intelligent, has really been a part of our development of this offense for a really long time. He's been here since day one, understands the ins and outs and really what our guys are capable of. You know, Coach Hampton, unbelievable motivator, great teacher, and again, sees the game in a way that I really appreciate and the way that he calls it and what that'll look like. So it's going to be a fun moment to see those guys go out there and execute.
Is it a struggle for you as a defensive-minded coach to not want to place your hands on the defense and take control? Do you got to battle that sometimes?
No, you got to trust your people. Now, I'm going to be involved. I'm going to be involved in every phase of the game. And I think that they have to understand what my expectations are and what that looks like. But you got to trust the people you hired to do a job and let them do the job and maybe learn a little bit in that process about yourself and your team.
I want to talk a little bit about the offensive line because everybody's going to talk about Dante. Everybody's going to talk about the defensive front. When you look at the offensive line, is the offensive line what determines this team's ceiling?
it's certainly I've never been a part of a good team that didn't have a good offensive line, right? So that's how critical it is. And again, there's going to be some new faces in there, but there's some great talent. So how quickly can we get that group playing as a cohesive unit? How well can we do it changing pieces out and still being able to operate at a really high level? I think is extremely important.
You kind of led me right into that. You talk about the best five. What does the best five mean to you? Is it the best five individually, or is it the best five that work together cohesively, as you just said?
Yeah, whatever five are in, right? And the reality is we've had a history here of having guys that are developmental guys that are going to be able to be better and better as the year goes on, whether that's Josh Connerly and his progression, JPJ, Poncho, all those guys were able to play early, but their role grew as they proved that they were accountable to their teammates. So could be very similar this year where we have some guys that take on a role and grow in that role. And then the other thing we all know is, things happen throughout the season where that role has to change. So you better have a lot of guys ready and ready to roll.
What about from a receiver standpoint? Because you've got guys like DeCorian Moore, Evan Stewart coming back into the mix. What excites you the most about your receiver core?
Yeah, just that we had young guys last year that got great experience. And quickly we had to change who we were offensively at times because of the injuries we experienced at wideout, and you see a guy like Malik Benson come on late in the year, and now he's playing for the Raiders doing a great job. Well, same thing with Jeremiah McClellan, right? So we've got a lot of pieces that we think can play winning football. It's about getting them ready and being able to roll those pieces.
You're not a coach that typically likes to signal out individual players, but you've been on record talking about the growth and maturity that you've seen from Evan Stewart. What have you seen in him this year, this offseason up to this point, that you may not have recognized in him last year?
I just see a hunger in Evan, right? And the way that he's worked, the way he handles a walkthrough, the way he handles a drill. If you watch him in practice, you're like, okay, that's how I want to play. And I think, you didn't always see that in Evan. You see that in him right now. It's hard when he was injured, right? That's different. But I think even going through what he went through, that adversity experience has made him a better player and a better person.
Back at Big Ten Media Days, you talked about the Harada method, and I'm curious, it's 8 pillars, 64 actions. I did some reading up on it, but how do you implement it? Is it from a team dynamic, or is it at an individual level?
It's everything, and it's every day, right? It's when they walk into the defensive meeting, right? How's that getting brought up? When they walk into special teams, right? When you're in the cafeteria and you're eating food. Like, to me, it's everything that we do, and it's just have to be a constant reminder. So for us, we find those and insert those constant reminders each and every day throughout the program.
In terms of the coaching staff, we talked about the changes for the coordinators. How do you kind of create the adaptability needed when you do win? You're going to lose some of those guys to head coaching positions. So how do you keep that continuity intact at the coaching level?
Yeah, you hope you're always growing everybody in your program. Just like you're growing a freshman to become a starter at some point, you want to be able to do the same thing with your coaches. And, that comes in cycles. It doesn't always work fluid like that. But if you identify people that have talent and that can take on bigger roles, you want to be able to create that. And they start that prep. And that certainly happened with Drew, and that certainly happened with Hamp. I expect the same thing in the future for some of our other coaches.
Maybe one of the competitions that we haven't talked enough about is that you have some competition at the specialist level. What can you tell us about the kicker, the punter, and what you guys got coming this year?
Yeah, ultimately, in special teams, you get one play to get it right. And usually in special teams, the only time anybody ever recognizes it when it doesn't go right? Every field goal is supposed to be made. Every punt's supposed to be elite. Snap, hold, kick. But we have some guys that are doing, a great job there. Gage has done a good job in the kicking game so far, and we have to keep putting him in those pressure situations throughout practice. Bailey's done a good job with the punts, but there is some competition there, and same thought process even with snapping with RJ. So they have to be consistent, and a lot of times you want them to be unseen. It means they're doing their job at a high level.
It's kind of like the offensive line, right?
A little bit.
You don't want those stats. Coach, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate you. We'll catch up with new Ducks offensive coordinator Drew Mehringer when we continue. Plus, Kenyon breaks down the biggest keys to success on the offensive side for Oregon this upcoming season. Football training camp, Oregon continues from the Pacific Northwest, where Oregon will have new coordinators on both sides of the ball after Will Stein and Tosh Lupoy both left for head coaching positions in the offseason. Filling in Stein's shoes as OC is a name that might be familiar to Big Ten fans. Drew Mehringer has had previous stops at Rutgers and Ohio State, as well as places like Texas and Houston. He's spent the last 4 seasons on the Ducks offensive staff as tight ends coach before being promoted to offensive coordinator prior to this season. New offensive coordinator Drew Mehringer joining our show alongside Kenyon Barter. I'm Cameron Irwin, and congratulations, just number one on the elevations to the offensive coordinator position. How do you feel coming into this camp?
It's been a lot of fun. We Coach Lanning's done an unbelievable job with the players that we brought in and the culture that he's developed. So it's great to step into the role and coach a great group of young men that are obviously super talented too.
Talking about that culture piece, one of the biggest pieces to this culture is Dante. Coach raved about him back in spring, about him making an adjustment at the line of the scrimmage that wasn't scheduled. Is that something that you've placed on him to be able to do this year, or is that something that he just did?
I think that in any player's development over time, they grow and they grow and they grow, and you want them to continue to grow. And part of that position is being able to see more and more at the line of scrimmage. So he did some of that in years past, right? But I think he's grown and taken over that a lot of that stuff for us, and really kind of takes pressure off us from making sideline adjustments all the time when a guy like that can do stuff on the field. Yeah.
Can you speak to just opening up the lens and seeing all 11 pieces of the offense moving from the tight ends now to the coordinator position?
Yeah, I think that the tight end's kind of intertwined in kind of everything. So there's always the adage that I used in the past that, other than throwing the football, the tight end has to learn every single skill, right? Yeah. So you're involved in every piece of the passing game, and the way that we've used our tight ends in the past, they are, they're ex receivers, they're, in line, they're extra tackles. Like, there are a lot of different things. And so I think it makes it a little bit easier transition for me. But it's a lot more fun. You get a lot more interaction, with the rest of the offense, and, chances to step into, Poncho's world for a little bit more than you normally would.
Drew, you were the youngest play caller at Rutgers at that time. What did young Drew believe back then about play calling versus what he believes now that is a complete lie?
Man.
Great question.
That's such a good question, and hilariously. So I think if you do anything worth anything in life, there's going to be times that are good and there's going to be times that are bad. And regardless of however it goes, you take notes on it. And I look back and I've watched some of that stuff, and, the game grows every single year. It always progresses. It always has, and it always will be. But you look back and you're like, man, I missed the boat on a lot of things. And one of the things I'm unbelievably thankful for is the way that we structure our staff and we watch tape together as an offense and defense. And I've learned as much, if not more, about football in the past 4 years, just sitting around with Coach Lanning and the defensive staff and changing my perspective completely. There's core beliefs that you always have, but learning new ways and different ways, and the way that they view the game is much different than the way the offense views the game. So I'd love to say, and I know for a fact, that I've grown tremendously since that moment.
You talk about learning. You also had a chance to work alongside Will Stein as well as Kenny Dillingham when he was here. What did you take from each of them?
I think they both have a little bit different approach. I think too, they share a quality I think that is good. Like they have belief constantly, and it's inspiring, right? To where that the players, whatever play it's called, they think it's going to score, and that and it's contagious. And so I've tried to continue to build on that with our players. Like, we've got really good players. Let's put them in positions. Kenny at times preferred to just, hey, we're going to keep running this same play, right? We might change the presentation or whatever, right? And Will liked a little bit more scheme than Kenny did. So bits and pieces from both, but both great play callers in their own right, and hopefully build on the foundation that they played. All
right, Coach, we got to get you out on the field. We appreciate the time.
Thank you guys so much.
Mehringer inherits an offense that has been the best in the country during Dan Lanning's tenure in Eugene. No program has scored more points per game than the nearly 40 put up by the Ducks over the last 4 campaigns. Oregon loses 3 starters on their offensive line and tight end Kenyon Sadiq, but return QB Dante Moore and 4 others, plus a trio of dangerous receivers in Decorian Moore, Evan Stewart, and Jeremiah McClellan. All right, Kenyon, let's dig into that offensive line, because just 2 returning starters, it seemed like that was where the most competition took place at practice today. What stood out to you?
First and foremost, the physicality. There wasn't a guy that got into the lineup that got some action today that was not physical. And for me, an offensive line needs to be physical. You need to be dirty. You need to be grimy. Those are the dogs of your offensive unit. The offense goes as far as the offensive line is willing to take them. So I love what I've seen from them from a physicality standpoint. Not necessarily maybe the most technical day, but we'll get there. We're still early in camp. But you talk about the offensive line, you lose Isaiah World. You lose Alex Harkey. You lose Emmanuel Pregnon. Those are three guys that you have to replace. Then some may say they didn't perform the best, but at the end of the day, they performed well enough to get this team to the college football semifinal. And so is it Fox Crater? Is it Janoris Wilson? Is it Zaire Addison? Is it Tommy Tofi? Who's going to be the guys that step into those spots and help this offense become what it was last year, but not just become that, surpass what they did last year under new offensive coordinator Drew Mehringer?
You know, so much to figure out on the offensive line, but one area that they don't have to figure things out, and with the guy sitting next to me, we've got to talk about the running backs.
Talk about the backs.
Two true freshmen last year that just absolutely went off. So much excitement around their sophomore campaign. What was impressive today on the practice field? And I saw some from Jordan Davison, pass catching in the flat.
Well, listen, now you're speaking my language. You know, pass catching is what kept me in the league for as long as it did, and being able to catch the ball out of the backfield. And in today's day and age, you have to be more than just a runner of the football. You have to be able to catch the ball out of the backfield to throw the defense off. So right along with you, I love what I've seen from Jordan Davison, being able to be used in the flat. And hopefully we see more of that as the fall camp continues to progress, as we get into season. But one thing that continued on, and one thing is for certain, his physicality when he runs the ball. Every single time this kid runs the ball, he's falling forward. And that is a great sign of a back that is on his way to being great. I don't want my backs falling backwards. I don't want to lose yards. The small little yards are what make up the big things on offensive football. Going to D.R. Hill, speed. That's what we knew of him last year. That's what we got today. Seen him burst down the left sideline, take off. It was great to see that continue on. And he's gotten bigger. He's put on size. So maybe we'll see more of him running inside. Again, we want to keep the defense off balance. You never want a defense to be able to get a beat on you and say, hey, 6 is in the game, they're running outside. D.R. Hill's in the game, they're running outside. We don't want to be able to Jordan Davison's in the game, power football. You always want to keep a defense off balance, and I think with what they're doing with those two guys and what we've seen, they're right in line with being able to do that.
Oregon's offense will need to fill production at the tight end spot, especially with Sadiq moving on to the next level. They're looking to potentially Jamari Johnson, but also there's a depth piece that they need to find. Who fills the void?
You got to go right there with the young buck, Kendra Harrison. Big body, physical specimen, but he has the mentality. And you don't typically see that from freshman football players coming in at the Division I level who carry the mentality of a starter. And when you watch that kid today, everything about him says, I may not be ready physically from a learning standpoint, but going out there, putting my hands on somebody, catching the football, I'm ready to play and I want to play now. But you talk about having somebody right there in your back pocket in your kitchen sink. My mom goes grocery shopping all the time. She never buys one item. She always buys 2 of the same item, so you have a backup when the other one is gone. And guess what? Oregon has a backup right there in the kitchen pantry, and Jamari Johnson.
I love it. We're going grocery shopping here in Eugene. We also cannot be, we would be remiss to forget about the starting quarterback in Dante Moore. It was interesting. When we sat down with him, the thing that stood out to me is that he mentioned his confidence really blossoming in 2026. How do you think that's going to show up on the field?
I think it's going to show up in the moments. Now, let me say I don't think. It has to show up in the moments that it didn't show up in last season. So those big-time clutch moments, those moments versus Indiana, those moments versus Texas Tech, where he admittedly said, I see ghost. So now the confidence is, now I'm confident in my pre-snap read. I'm confident and I trust my eyes on what I see. Now I'm able to lead this team in another direction. So I'm looking forward to him taking that next step of becoming NFL ready.
Can't wait to see what he does under center. Back to defense when we return in Eugene, where star power is on display throughout the unit. We'll catch up with a pair of defensive standouts heading into the season, Matayo Uiagalelei and transfer Perich, when we roll on from Autzen. We're back at Autzen Stadium as our coverage of Oregon's preseason camp continues. We've talked about the high expectations for this year's Ducks defense, and here's a big reason why. Oregon has 4 of the 5 top vote getters in Cleveland.com's preseason Defensive Player of the Year poll. When you consider those on the defensive side, from Tatum Tuioti and Amari Washington to the defensive backs in Brandon Finney and Perich. Joining us now, Perich and Matayo Uiagalelei. Guys, we are so stoked to have you here talking a little Oregon defense. I'm going to start with you. Transferring from Minnesota, this town, this program, there is all sorts of uniqueness that it's covered in. What was your welcome to Eugene moment?
I would say my welcome to Eugene moments probably started in the practice field. I ended up getting mossed in spring practice. Probably first time ever for me that's actually happened.
Okay, who was it?
I'm not give that.
You want to get that shot?
I need to give that shot, but there's definitely some great players here. Our teams are really good. We got a lot of superstars on the team, especially young guys. They've stepped up, and it's gonna be a really fun year with these guys.
Matayo, you are probably in a position group with the most talent on the field. How fun is it for you to be paired with those guys, Tatum, Amari, and Bear? How fun does that make the game for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a lot of fun. You know, we're saying, I'm out there, and there's guys that I know, you know, like me, Tatum, and Amari, we've been there. You know, we got Bear, who came in last year. So, you know, being with, like, your best friends out there, and your best friends are also ballers.
Right.
So it's definitely a blast, and we all just push each other every day.
There we go.
Matayo, what was your first impression of the guy sitting next to you?
I think he came into the team meeting room, and then I think just his voice, like he has a, you know, like a low, deep voice. It's like Kermit. I did Kermit a lot. I'm coming from Minnesota. I'm here to, you know, from this guy. You know, you can definitely tell he's a football junkie.
Yeah.
You know, in the film room all the time and stuff.
Corey, you are one of the most versatile players on the team. Offense, defense, special teams. Does being so versatile have its cons, or is it just a benefit all over the field?
I would say when I got here, versatility is definitely one of my strengths, but they really started to focus me on defense, and I love that. I think if I really focus in and really hide in my skills on that, I'll be able to get even better, and I've definitely got better since I've gotten here. I'm just going to keep on improving and keep on working on it.
Matayo, there's so much conversation around this defensive front. Everyone across the country is talking about your unit. I'm curious, is there a theme? Is there an identity, some sort of name that you guys have kind of hung on to that you'd like people to know about?
Sure, I don't think we have any name, but I mean, just dominating up front, being the most physical. A lot of our coaches, we talk about, you know, not necessarily like we're not chasing sacks, but we're trying to destroy the pocket. You know, we're trying to make the quarterback throw in a will, however that is, and stop the run.
For you, the defense is probably as talented as you've been on. Defensive backs, linebackers, defensive line. How easy does that make the game for you as a safety? How does it take your mind off of things? Does it simplify the game for you, allow you just to focus on you? What does it do for you as a safety?
Yeah, ever since I got here, I mean, my teammates are amazing. Yeah, I mean, especially, this guy right here. I mean, I watch him, and he's being the tackle in almost every play. And that goes around from the corners to the linebackers. So when you have lockdown corners on each side, and we got depth throughout, it's just entertaining for me just to watch those guys in film. And when I'm on the field, it definitely makes me more relaxed knowing I got players all around me. Then I can focus in on my job, and hopefully I can help these guys around me, and we can keep on building and becoming a great team like that.
I read that there are new speed PRs for this defense. We talk about the offense being so fast. How much faster can this defense get? Coy?
I think almost every single one of the DBs PR this offseason. I can't speak on the bigs, but
we got some PRs, but you know.
I know the DBs gotten really fast. A lot of people over 22s, high 21s, almost everybody running.
Matayo, what about you, just in terms of the next evolution of your own game? What's been the focal point?
Yeah, for me in this offseason, I've just been taking, my body seriously, and trying to slim down a little bit. I feel like I got a little too heavy last year, towards the end of the season. But just, sounds cliche, but get better in every area. Be more physical in the run game and the finish plays. I definitely left a lot of plays on the table last year, so that's definitely something I've been working on.
Question for you. You battle with this offensive line every single day. What offensive lineman not gives you that work, but gives you a hard time?
Yeah. I definitely say, there's a lot of guys battling for those spots.
Yeah.
I definitely say Pancho is definitely the most prominent. He's a leader. He's going to defend. He's going to lead the offensive line and be out there. You're going to see him every play. You got guys like Fox Crater out on tackle, some new guys like Tommy, Tofi, Manny. There's a lot of different guys out there. Janoris Wilson. It's a lot of guys.
I can tell you one thing. Can't wait to see this Oregon defense out on the field. Fellas, thanks so much for joining us. Coming up, we tie a bow on our day in Eugene. Kenyon's biggest takeaways from practice and how the Ducks can take the next step and raise the college football playoff championship trophy this January. That's coming up next. Wrapping up our coverage of Oregon Ducks camp at Autzen Stadium in Eugene, where the Ducks will open their season Week 1 versus Boise State prior to a non-conference road date at Oklahoma State in Week 2. A challenging conference slate for Dan Lanning's team. The Ducks were one of 8 Big Ten teams to win 9 or more games last season. Of the other 7, Oregon plays 5 of them this season: USC, Illinois, Ohio State, Michigan, and Washington, with the first 3 of those matchups all on the road. A silver lining for the Ducks, perhaps, that they do play 5 of their 9 league games here at home. It's time for some final takeaways from Eugene. Kenyon, get us started. What are you taking away?
2 things: fast and physical. This team, in every aspect of practice, was fast and physical, whether it was transition periods, in between periods. One thing about this team last year is sometimes they struggled coming out the gate in games. So I love the fact that Dan has these guys running off the field, running on the field, in between drills. It was absolutely beautiful to see. It was amazing to see, as someone who's been able to watch this program up close and personal, see the little tweaks that he's making to hopefully get these guys to start faster. But it was absolutely a beautiful thing to see. The offensive line and the D-line, the running backs versus the linebackers, the DBs versus the receiver. Everything was fast and everything was about being physical. And one thing you have to do and be able to do in the Big Ten is be physical and play fast football.
Now, you didn't get a chance to play under Dan Lanning, but watching him operate out on the field, on the practice field, was something to watch. Yeah. What grabbed your attention?
One thing in particular, as great as Dan is, there was one thing that really stood out to me today. And it was the fact that he's constantly and consistently encouraging competition. There was a point in practice where the offensive lines maybe not have been playing as well, but there was one particular group that got things going, and out loud on the megaphone he yells out, "Maybe this should be my starting offensive line." As a player, I'm going to take you up under the helmet. I now start to think, oh, wait a minute, I got to pick it up. If I'm not in that group, well, what does he see in them that he doesn't see in me? What did they do that I did not do? And so for me, it was him encouraging competition without demeaning somebody, without breaking another group down, but telling you, hey, this group is outperforming you. What are you going to do about it?
Have your expectations, your anticipation for this season changed now that we've sat down with the head coaches, the coordinators, and so many of these athletes?
It absolutely hasn't. It hasn't changed at all, for the simple fact that I understand what they had coming back. You get all those guys back. I understand what they already have in place in Dan Lanning. I understand what they have in the coordinators that they are now in place, calling plays offensively and defensively. And so it hasn't changed. If anything, I think they've gotten greater.
All right, that's going to do it for us from Eugene. We want to give a massive thank you to the Ducks, as well as Nate Kruger and the rest of their team for their hospitality. Our coverage continues next from Seattle as we preview the Washington Huskies on stop number 6 of our camp tour. For Kenyon Barner, I'm Cameron Irwin. Thanks for tagging along. We'll see you next time.